My name is Mikayla Daniels. I'm a writer, a filmmaker, and I've been a horror genre addict since I was a little kid. Now, this might seem counterintuitive to some, but there's a lot of people like me who have experienced trauma and use horror films as a way to process that trauma. So for me, my trauma was childhood. I met a big, bad, real scary monster in real life. And this was the early 80s, so we weren't really talking about things, and there was no real way for me to process my trauma at that initial point. A few years later, I was actually introduced to horror films at a very young age. I believe I was only 8, and I loved it. It opened up this new world for me because I could experience fear in a very controlled environment. Whether that's at home or in a movie theater, you feel very safe in that environment watching these horrific things on screen. So you're allowing yourself to sit in that fear and to process that fear in a safe environment, right? And many horror films end with the bad guy, being killed or defeated in the end. So there's also that feeling of justice, that sometimes the monsters do get what's coming to them. Sometimes they will get their due, and there's comfort in that, right? And then as I became a writer, I found that I really loved writing in the horror genre because it's another way for me to process those fears, right? To get them out on paper, to tell these stories in a fantastical way that hopefully the stories say something and the stories mean something to people, but it really is another way for me to process the things that I've been through in a very controlled environment. And so if you have experienced some trauma and you find comfort in horror films, just know that you're not alone, and a lot of us actually do feel the comfort in it as well.